Hi, this is Helen.keit, the Key team at Keller Williams Realty Landmark here in Queens, New York City. And we are doing little interviews with a lot of our professionals that we work with. These are fabulous service providers, people from all different professions who we've used over the years. And we're giving you a little insight into their business. And we're going to talk with Tina O'Keefe of Stow Behold. I'm going to read this to you so I don't forget anything. Tina is founder and chief organizing officer of Stow Behold, founded in 2013. And Stow Behold provides professional organizing services to both professional and commercial clients who seek to reduce the clutter, optimize space, and restore happiness to their homes and offices. And from her career, which started with certainly a stint in the U.S. Peace Corps, she's devoted herself to serving others. And it really is wonderful to see she's made a commitment to serving others, and her work as a professional helps her with the lives of clients, helping to increase their productivity, efficiency, and comfort. So with that, I'm going to let Tina just kind of introduce herself and, what brought you to this field, and give us a little background there on that, how you started the business.
Well, thank you so much, Helen. It's really a pleasure to talk to you face to face. And I started my business in 2013, but I became an organizer in 2006. My background is in writing, and I was in public relations and marketing. And during my time in the Peace Corps, I also did a lot of grant writing and writing different types of materials for the organization that I was working for in the host country, which was Ukraine. And when I returned to the United States, I continued to work as a communications consultant. And I had a client who sent me to a conference in New York City that was for women entrepreneurs. And I was there representing their business, but one of the speakers was an organizer. And I was like, my eyes must have gotten huge because I said, I didn't know this was something you could do for a living. And so I went up to her afterwards like a groupie. And I said, I think that what you do is so cool. And she and I were speaking, and we exchanged contact information. And she said, her business was booming. And if I had any interest in becoming an organizer, I could work maybe under her umbrella, under her brand, which I did part-time for many years. And then fast forward, I was looking for something new. I had a family. I wanted something that was flexible. I wanted something that was service oriented, which was hard to find. And my husband said, you love doing that organizing. Why don't you try to do it on your own? And so that's what I did. And that's how Stow Behold was born.
It's a great little story there. And what makes your services different? How have you positioned yourself in the market?
Well, when I first got started, I did think that I should reach out to other moms like myself. That was my goal. So I went up to people outside of the school at pickup, and I said, I will organize for you for free in exchange for before and after pictures to build up my portfolio. And they shockingly said, no, absolutely not, because people were maybe embarrassed to do it with someone that they knew. They'd never heard of this before, so they were a little shocked. But their answer every time was, no, never for me, but my mom could really use help, and my dad could use help, and my aunt could use help. And I started to open my eyes to the fact that there were so many seniors in my community and, and all over that are really struggling with their clutter, or wanting to move, or wanting to make a change and not being able to, or wanting to be comfortable where they are and not being able to because of the clutter. And so that became my specialty. But I realized that there's like an obstacle a little bit to certain people, and getting, there's all these memories and all this emotion wrapped up in, and it's true for everybody, not just our seniors, but for sure the seniors, and they have a lifetime of memories. And so I started realizing that donating items was really the way. Trying to sell something made them always feel like they weren't going to get the value that they spent, that it should have. We use this dining room table, and it's still in great condition, and no matter what price you put on it, it was like never the right price. But when you said, let's donate it to a charity that might be able to benefit from it, it really like allowed them to release and say, okay, you're right, I don't need this big dining room table, I don't host Thanksgiving anymore, and it would be great to give it to someone who could use it. And so I specialize really in trying to get things into the hands of people who need them, in a timely way when it needs to be timely, but allowing people to feel good about the choices that they're making and organizing. It's not just about throwing it in the garbage, but also making conscientious choices.
That is a great approach. And I was just going to ask you about how you separate the seniors from their possessions. I mean, it's not for anyone, but let alone if they've had them all those years. But the idea of doing it, what a great approach, Tina. So in other words, a lot of times, is it just to keep the senior organized in their home, or you're actually helping them transition to a care setting or a retirement community, that sort of thing?
I do both. So sometimes I'm helping families clear out, sadly, after a death or a loss. Sometimes it's they've moved on to an assisted living or a community that's better suited to their needs, and they need to vacate. So I help them clean out and again, sell, donate, etc. But then right after COVID, a lot of families, I think, wanted to return seniors to their homes. So there was a shift in that direction as well. So then my services become going into an empty apartment that's been vacated for quite some time, and looking at it in conjunction with a care manager to say what should not be here anymore. What is, the hallway is too narrow, there's clutter in the hallway, or this person needs this type of accessibility. An aide is going to be living here now, and we need space for that other person to be here. And so decisions had to be made on how to make changes, and I help implement those changes.
That's great. And like you mentioned, with the pandemic, we've had more of a move. A lot of people have thought about multi-generational living. So in other words, making space in, I guess it would be the children's home to accommodate not only their aging parent, but their workspace and their homeschool space. Have you done things on that level? In other words, with the homes for, those working hybrid?
Absolutely. Yeah. I have families who maybe in the tri-state area, many families have left the city to go to other homes or to stay with other relatives. They might have second homes outside in more remote areas, and they felt that that was safer. And then now they are returning, and they need to make do with the space that they have and make all these changes to accommodate setting up workspaces for the children. I mean, one thing that all my teacher friends have told me is that it's been very eye-opening for the educators to see what's going on at the home, and students who they weren't sure why they were struggling. It becomes obvious when the student doesn't have a dedicated workspace, doesn't have a quiet place to do their homework. So trying to help families put these spaces together during COVID, and now after, there's still readjustments being made. And sometimes some of these situations have become permanent. And so trying to say, okay, we ran this wire across the house, but now we really need to make this a permanent solution. So how do we do that?
Wow. And you're talking about things that are just, most people don't realize it, but, mentally, you're much more productive and efficient and happy when your space, right, is not overwhelming you. So how would you say a session starts, or how long, how do you price that, or is it by hour sort of thing? And do you go in first and give an overview and kind of calculate you tell me what's going to be needed?
I usually build the assessment into the session. And the reason why I do this is for clients who are reluctant to organize and who are maybe scared or nervous or anxious about what it's going to be like, and who say, I don't think this is possible. I get that all the time. I don't think you're going to be able to help me. There's too much here. And so if I go in sometimes and I talk to them too much about organizing, they become more frightened. It's too much talking, and they need to do a little bit to just see. So what I do is I arrive, I ask for pictures beforehand, and I do talk to them beforehand about the process and our strategy. But when I arrive, I do a walkthrough and I take notes, but then we do something immediately together. We pick a cabinet, a closet, a room, anything that seems like I can start it and stop it in a session, which is typically about 4 hours. That's a normal session or a traditional session. Sometimes seniors I work with for health reasons, they don't have the stamina. So 3 sometimes is my magic number with them. But 4 is typical, and we start and end a project and have a sense of success and accomplishment in that first session. And it makes them understand what the process is like, but also gives them a sense that, okay, I can do this. And so then we continue on forward. And after that session, I do a work plan for the client so that they know how much time this will take, what approach I'll have, and what our roadmap will look like, so that they have a sense of what's coming ahead and there's no surprises.
Love this, because certainly we work with seniors all the time, but we need to prepare them, let them understand, and also let them have the ability to say, no, I really can't do this, or I can't have, so they'll feel very comfortable with you by doing this little experimental tryout time session. That's terrific. And do you work with particular movers if you were going to complete a move, or you're just involved with the organizing part? You know what I'm saying?
It really depends. If the client has a contact, or, if they're working, for example, with a real estate agent who has, a team in place, I will coordinate with anyone who they want to partner with. If they don't have a resource and they need resources, I definitely can provide movers, junk removal services, cleaning services, handyman. I've done all of that. And sometimes if the client, for example, if the family is out of state and they need someone to be on site, I've often been the point person. I have the keys and I will facilitate whatever needs to be done, sending updates and pictures to the family throughout the process.
And this is for sure why we include Tina in our Key Team Concierge, because she really is full service and dedicated. It has to be a dedicated professional, because we love to be referred all the time and we don't like unhappy people. So the fact that you really cater to and listen to them, what I'm saying? Yeah, this happens no matter what age. I've moved a lot of orders, people have really been overwhelmed, and that can come at any point. So, it takes a very sensitive approach, and I hear that you have that. I would say that makes you different, right? There are too many in this industry that want to just go in and do 1, 2, 3, but they're not sensitive to the issues. That's terrific, Tina. Anything that we have missed here where anybody else who would be a very good client for you?
Well, I work with people of all ages, and certainly families and single people, seniors and young people. But I do really enjoy helping families who are trying to get, who are on a deadline. I don't know. I work well under pressure. Maybe I'm a secret procrastinator. I shouldn't reveal that on this interview. But I do feel like when people are really struggling and they're like, it's the end of the month and the apartment needs to be empty by next week. I do tend to rise to the occasion and I work well in those circumstances. And I don't know. And I feel like I love having that sense of relief from the family when they're like, we didn't think we were going to be able to do this and you helped us do it. So
great sense of accomplishment.
I don't want everyone to call me when it's an emergency, but once in a while, it keeps me on my toes.
At least you function well under pressure. That's the key. So, well, I love having you here, Tina. I certainly love recommending you. We're going to have you right there on our website, and all your information actually is going to be under this video. So everything will be available, and we'll be putting this out through all our different social media and certainly emails. But we thank you. And I can see why you really, truly enjoy helping the people, because if you didn't, it wouldn't come through as naturally and effective as you are here. So I thank you. Have a good day, and I'll be in touch. And we'll have all Tina's information, Stow and Behold, right under here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Have a great day.